it's Ruby here, and today I have brought to you such an exciting tutorial. Now, you would have seen on the intro clips just how gorgeous this project is going to be. Now, this is something I have wanted to create for such a long time now. I am in the crochet community as I do crochet as well, and there are many patterns crochet wise for this. However, after time and time of tirelessly searching for one to be made on the circular knit machines, I couldn't find it. This is where I needed to, become creative. I love making patterns, I love designing, and I thought, you know what, I could do this. And I can do it and bring it to you guys, and everyone can make this because it's such a fun make. The children love it. I've had adults say they love it. It's so cute. So with that said, let's dive in of what we will need to do this project. It's so cute. I'm so excited. So to begin with, you will need a large machine. Now that can be a Centro 48 or other 48 pin machines, other brands out there, or Addy 46 is totally fine, just as long as you're 46, 48, absolutely fine. Then you will also need a 22 pin machine. I'm using my Addy machine today. You can use Centro or, like I say, any other brands. And then finally, machine wise or gadget wise, you'll need an I-cord machine. Now, it doesn't have to be a machine. There's plenty of ways how to make an I-cord. You could crochet one. You can even use your amazing machines, whether that's your big one, your little one. If you have an I-cord Pro, even better. It whips an I-cord up so fast for you. However, there are so many ways to do that. And, if you do need a tutorial on how to make an I-cord on a circular knit machine or how to crochet one, then just comment below, and I will happily get a video out there for you, as I can do always if that's what's needed. So that's the machines and the gadgets we need. We then also need a darning needle, crochet hook, some nippers or scissors. We then need some waste yarn. Waste yarn is so important for this project. And then we have an accent colour. And then we have a main colour. So you will need 200 grams of your main colour for your backpack. And then you will need 100 grams for your accent colour. And this will be for the drawstrings as well as the adorable little spikes on the backpack, which give the dinosaur little figure. So yeah, that's all we need. I will catch you back in a minute where we will get started with our dinosaur drawstring backpack. Okie dokie, so to start this off, we are going to start with our main colour. But before we do that, we must always remember on this project, we need waste yarn before and after on every single tube we are going to use. So anywho, let's cast on with waste yarn. Now to cast on, you go wrap it around your first hook, then you go behind the second, and then in front of the other, and we just weave in and out of each hook to cast it on. That may take me a little bit longer, as I do have my Giochi machine attached, just for speed, so I can get this video out to you as soon as possible. So everyone on the Facebook community is so excited for this, and I just want to get it out and done whilst I've got the chance to. It is the summer holidays here in the UK, and I do have 3 children, so life is just a little bit crazy at this present moment of time. So anyhow, we have our waste yarn on. We've done the first little cast on. We now need to crank 7 to 10 rows is what I prefer when it comes to doing a project with waste yarn. You can do whatever you feel is best for you, but personally I think 7 to 10 is best. So anywho, I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to get that going. I start it off slow with the Giochi to begin with, just so we know that everything is on, it's going well. And then after that first row, I'll speed it up a bit. Make sure nothing gets all attached to the yarn. And we're going to go for 7 to 10 rows. Oh, my yarn is getting snagged, so quickly just pull some through. It's a new ball and I've pulled from the middle and it's gone yarn vomited on me, just what I need. Well, got to do a couple more rows now anyhow. And again, we're snagged again. This ball of yarn I'm using clearly does not like me today. And it happens. And that's why we like to take things a little bit slower. Yes, I'm using a cranky machine. However, I wouldn't have it on the high speed. They're great when you need to get things done at a higher rate, or if you have issues with your arms or anything like that, with cranking. However, just to keep the machine in good nick, it's just best to keep it at a good rate. I don't want to burn out my machines too fast. Anyhow, right, I have got that back. There was a big knot, I'm so sorry. No. 9. 10. Right. So I'm going to cut that waste yarn now. Pop that in the middle. And then I'm going to take my main colour. So for my main colour for the bag, I am using this cute blue. Absolutely love it. I will reset the row counter. Do not forget to reset that counter. And now I will slowly go along just to ensure that everything attaches well to the machine. And we're good. Speed her up a little bit. And what we now need to do is we're cranking along, whether you've got your Giochi or your hand cranking, all will be well. We are going to do 150 rows for this main colour. So once you have reached 150 rows, I will meet you back here to help you with the next steps. We are now at 150 rows. I have cut a nice long tail. We need a nice long one for this, because this is what we'll use when we need to sew some bits in. I'm going to add the waste yarn. I'm going to do 7 to 10 rows of waste yarn now. Right. So now we've done between 7 and 10 rows of waste yarn. I've just done 9. I'm going to cut off, move the waste yarn into the center, put it on the pole, and then we are going to cast that off the machine. And with using waste yarn, it will just help everything be so neat. It gets off the machine way easier as well. A little bit that's snagged on there, that's fine. We can just pull it back, loop round. And there we have it. Give it a bit of a stretch. So we now have one long tube. You need to create 2 of these. So I'm going to let you crack on, replay the video if you need to watch these steps. We need to have 7 to 10 rows of waste jam, 150 rows of your main bag colour, and then again 7 to 10 rows of waste jam. So you create two long tubes. Okay. I will let you get on with that, and I will move on to the next step where we will be creating 3 of these little squares on the Addy machine. So I'm just going to quickly set that up and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Now we've got the 22 machine, and we now need to start off with waste jam. So I'm going to find my starting point. So on the Addy machine, we have 3 black pins, and that's where the row counter will then click. I really like to start from the white pin following the black. I used to start on the first black pin and I'd get really confused at where my start and finish point is. So I just start now. We've got the last black one and then I'll start the first white. It makes it so easy for my brain. I mean, we're all different. We can do it however you wish. We're just going to cast on now. I went on this loop and then I've gone at the back of this one and in front of this one, back, front, back, front, back, front. We'll do that all the way around. I'm going to open my tensioner, close it. I'm not going to reset my row counter just yet because we are doing waste jam. So I'm just going to quickly do 7 to 10 rows of waste jam. I've not clamped this machine to the table, so holding it with all my might so it doesn't slip about. The Centros are pretty good because they have like little suction cups and they stick really well to this surface, but the Addies, they come with clamps, which I've not set up properly. Obviously, as I'm moving around with every little machine at the moment to make this project. So I've got my waste jam on, cutting that back, popping it in the middle, and I'm going to take my lovely bright orange. You cannot see just how bright that is in person. It's so bright, like luminous orange. It's gorgeous. I'm going to add that in. I'm going to leave a good sized tail. Okay. We're now going to reset the row counter. Do be sure that you reset that, please. Right. Now, I'm just going to crank slowly for a second. So as you'll see, the loops on here aren't so tight. So what I like to do is I take this end and I'll take this end and then make sure it's under. And then I'll start going around. Okay, and slowly. The machine really likes this yarn. Now, we're going to go around with this gorgeous orange. I absolutely love it. So I'm making this bag for my eldest son. So the other one I made was for my youngest. This one's for my eldest. And then my daughter wants me to design a totally different bag, which I will have out for you guys soon as well. It's going to be gorgeous. So if you're thinking, hey, where's one for the girls? I mean, you can totally do this for the girls. Use some shades of pinks or purples or, you know, whatever colour they like. But I will have other designs coming for you very soon. So we're just cranking along until we get to 20 rows. 20 rows. $19 and $20. We'll stop there. And I'd like to have a nice long yarn tail. Pop that in the middle. And I'm going to grab my waste yarn again. pop it in. Make sure you go around that loop. And then we're going to do 7 to 10 rows of waist yarn for this as well. Make sure you pull, so you see this, it was just looped over. I always try and make sure we pull that tight before we go around. Right, 7 to 10 rows. It works up so much quicker on the 22 pin. So you can whip out 3 of these gorgeous little triangles so fast. Go 9 for that one, that should be fine as it's a smaller machine. Cut that off, open up, and now close it so I can crank along. And then we're just going to cast it off, which just go around once, and then by the second time we've gone around, it will fall off your machine. Totally fine. Now, we need to give it a stretch this way, stretch it that way, give it a good stretch. Now we're on to our next step, which is crochet closing the ends. So you should have 1, 2, 3 little squares, and then you should have 2 long tubes. Once you have got all of these pieces, I will meet you back here. I'm just going to nip off, make my second long tube, and I'll meet you back. We'll all be together with all the bits and bobs we need. And then I'll need you to come back with your crochet hook as we'll be closing each tube off. So I'll see you in a little while. Hokey cokey. So we should all have 2 tubes and 3 little ones. I have closed the ends on these and removed the waste yarn. And I'm just going to show you how to here. In the background, I am working on my I-cord. So my caydo, my lovely I-cord machine, my caydo Pro, she is working on my I-cord for me, and this will be the straps for the drawstring bag. So as she works in the background, I can show you how to close with the crochet hook method. I will show you on the orange as it's more contrasted, you can actually see better. And then I'll show you one end of the large tubes. You will need to obviously close every single end on every piece you've made. So let's begin on this. So you'll need to take your crochet hook. Let's see if I can zoom for a minute so we can really see what is going on. Now, I like to make sure we've got these ends that were obviously in the inside. I like to get them, give them a nice tug. I curl the work out a little bit, as you can see. Now, we have an end. I like to keep the yarn at this end, and we work from this end. We've got this little loop here. Now this loop will be our beginning. So we pop it underneath it, and then I'm just going to turn my hook up to the loop above it and pull that loop through. And then we're going to go below and grab that loop and pull that through. And we're going to go up again and pull that through, and then down, pull that through, and up, down, pull it through, up, pull it through, down, pull it through, up, down, up, down. Hoping to still be in frame. Very difficult trying to set the tripod up and learn different angles of where to pop it so you can all see. That one's going to struggle to pull through. See, there we go. Pull through. And this is where it does get a little bit tricky, because your little loops that you need to work with do become slightly hidden. So we just try and uncurl it, and then you can expose the loops. If you miss a loop, it will all unravel. So we just have to make sure that we do get every single one. Now I'm at the end. I've got this end bit of yarn. I like to take that, pull it through, and then pull it through there. Now it's closed, we have to remove the waste yarn. So with waste yarn, the yarn you put when you first cast on is the most difficult to remove. So I've removed the easier end where it literally just pulls off, easy peasy. I wanted to do that so then I could show you that with the yarn when you first cast on, how you can get it so it winds off like it would when you finish the work, if that makes sense. So you'll find where you cut it off and you've got the loops. We're just going to go through and we'll pull that bit of strand all the way around first. Give that a nice pull, and then we are nearly ready to do that. Just got to go through that one last loop, and there we go. Now it will just easily remove, like so. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, huh? So let's recap. You will have 1, 2, 3 little accent colour squares. You will then have 2 long tubes. We need to then remove the waste yarn after we've closed the tubes. So I'm going to pop this one aside for a minute. I'm going to work on this one. I'm going to show you how we remove the waste yarn on one end as well, but we're just going to set this up because obviously it is a bigger tube. So I always keep these strands to my left side, curl it over so I can see the work, and then at this end we've got 1 loop. We're going to go up and pull that down and then go down through. Make sure we're getting every single loop along. We're going up and down, so up. And we're just wanting the yarn that is our main colour, so we don't pull the waste yarn through. We're literally just pulling that blue or your main colour you've chosen for the bag. And I find the size hook I am using is a 4.5, and personally I find that's the best size to use. You may like a chunkier hook, you may like a skinnier hook. You know, it's totally up to you, but a 4.5 millimeter is always the most comfortable hook that I hold. Like when I crochet, a size 4 is my favorite anyhow. So I think it's just like what you feel most comfortable with. So we're at the end. I'm going to quickly turn this around, and as you can see, we've got 2 loops hidden. So I need to go through that one, pull that through, go up to that one and pull that through, and now we've got our end yarn. We can just grab it and pull that through, and we'll pull that tight, and that secures it very nicely. Then we can go ahead and remove this waste yarn, and again I've gone from the base, which will be when you first cast on with your waste yarn. So to do that, we have to find the loop it first went through. There it is. And we've just got to find that and pull it all the way. Keep them strands out of the way so it'll get tangled. My caydo machine is working lovely for me. So for the I-cord, we'll just have a quick chat about the I-cord while I'm pulling this yarn through, as there's a lot of it to get around to anyhow. So the I-cord we are going to use for the straps on our lovely little bags. So what we'll do with the I-cord, we will need around 100 centimeters per strap. So I'm just going to let the I-cord machine run for a good while and then whatever spare iCord I have, I will use for other crafts anyhow. If you don't have an iCord machine, then just go until you've made about 100 centimeters of for 2 straps, give or take, because obviously some children are taller than others, some aren't. So if you need longer, go longer. There we go. I've just removed the waist yarn, and that's the end. So what you need to do before we move on to the next step is we're going to remove all the waist yarns, close the tubes off, remove the waist yarn, and then I'll meet you back. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so we are back. We have 2 large tubes with waist yarn removed after closing the seams, and we have 3 small tubes with, again, closed seams and waist yarn removed. What we now need to do is work on getting these little squares turned into gorgeous little triangles, which will resemble the dinosaur spikes. We're going to keep it straight, and then we're going to fold up diagonally, and that'll be the triangle. So we'll add the yarn, fold it up, add the yarn to the needle, go through, poke, so we've got it through, and then turn. We don't want to go down this way towards a yarn tail because we need to use that yarn tail. So we'll go where there's no yarn tail at the end, and we'll go around, go along here, all the way down, straighten out if you need to, just to get your little triangle shape in place. It's just all about teasing the shape of it because it is there. Just needs a good little tease. So go along, that through. Just going to squeeze it there just to get that in. And then hide the tail. And then again for this side, you would add it. Just want to show how to get that triangular, losing my words now, how to get that triangular shape. So again, you would add it, tease it out, and go through. And we'll just keep going through, loop to loop. Very, very simple. And we'll go all the way up. Then we'll tie off and we'll hide the waist yarn. So I will meet you back here once you have 3 gorgeous little dinosaur spikes. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay, so we now have 3 triangles and they are going to go so cute. So this is how it will look when finished. What we do now need to do is pop our triangles aside, our gorgeous little dinosaur spikes. They can go to one side. As we open this up, our long tube, we now need to mattress stitch all along in the middle. So I'm just going to quickly adjust my table about, and then I'll be back to show you how to do this. So I'm back, I'm set up. I should be a bit more zoomed in so you can see much clearly. What we are going to do is we are going to add some yarn to a darning needle, and we're going to attach these tubes together by doing a mattress stitch. Now, for those that don't know how to do a mattress stitch, it is fairly simple. It can be a little bit finicky to begin with, so I'm hoping you can actually see everything here right now because it's quite difficult to show everyone. So what I do is I pinch both tubes, and you will see we have these little V's here. I don't know if we need to zoom in a little bit more just so you can see, because I'd really, really like you to see this. So I'm just going to begin with by going through 2 of the loops like this just to add my yarn. So I'm going to leave a good tail. Now, in these little loops, you will see we go here, we go in the middle of them and under. We've got these little loops, and I go through 2 of these on the top half of the tube, so the top tube. I don't pull it too tight to begin with, so I like to see where I've last gone. So now I can go below and find the next 2 little loops. Give it a pull. Not too tight so you can still see where you've gone. And then we'll go up again. Go through 2 or 3 loops at a time. No more than that, because if you do go through more than that at a time, you do begin to lose what is what. So go through 3. I'm just going to do this a few times now so you can watch. I'm just going to do it quietly so you can watch. And then I'll show you how it looks when we pull it nice and tight. You have to make sure that you keep this all nice and lined up, so it won't go straight. Which is why I don't like to pull it too tight to begin with, because then I can see that actually the last one I went in at the bottom was here. So I'll go through the loops right next to it. Just makes it that little bit easier for those that do struggle, so you don't have to pull it tight straight away. We can actually see what we're working with. And again, at the top one, these were the loops. I'm just going to do one top one and one bottom one, and then I'll show you what it will look like when we pull it. So pull that through. Ooh, a little bit caught up. So right now you can see it's not tight. So we'll take the end we come in with and the end we're working with right now. Just going to pull it tight. And there you have it. It is joined, seamed together, and very much hidden. Now as you go along, you will do more and more. We're going to go all the way along both tubes to completely adhere them together. Once you've got to the bottom and you've finished, I will meet you back here. You can keep watching this little bit on replay so you can see how to do it. Once you are finished, give it a really good tug, pull it tight, and it will adhere nicely together. And that is a mattress stitch, or some people call it an... We now have our mattress stitched tubes together. I literally just need to do this last little bit. So let's go through. Nearly went through the wrong ones then. Go through, give it a good pull, and then I just like to go through like this. Obviously make sure you've pulled it tight before you do close your end off and tie it off, because if not, you'll be left with lots of gaps. So I'm just going to tie that now. Tie, sew my ends through, and I'll cut that yarn tail. Just one less tail to worry about. So now, what we now need to do is flip it, move my drink out the way, and fold it in half. And we have got a long strand. This end we will need to attach a strand of yarn. You, for this step, must remember and keep in mind that we will now need to work from the top of the bag. So this will be the opening of the bag. We're going to work on closing these sides in, but we are going to work from top down to bottom. And that's purely because when we get to the bottom, we need to be able to make our loops to put our I-cord through. And we can't do that if we finish at the top. We must finish down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go on this side first. I'm going to turn my work just because my long bit of strand is on this side. I'm going to quickly get rid of this bit of yarn. So I'm going to sew it in and cut it off, just so it's out of the way, because we don't need that in our way. We don't need it at all. I'm going to sew it through. Pull it through. Stretch it back out. Now I'm going to give that a snip, get rid of that. That bit's for the middle. We may need that for the middle if we need to strengthen our middle bits of our mattress stitching. So I do like to keep that just for now. Right, so we're going to attach the yarn to the darning needle. Just like so, and I'll be right back because my daughter needs me. Sorry about that. It is the 6 weeks holidays here, so everything is a little bit crazy in my household. Anyhow, so like I say, we're going to be working top to bottom. This will be the inside of our bag. This we need to close. We need to close both ends. So what I like to do is I come along here, and similar to how we done our triangle. So I'll quickly zoom in so you're able to see it a little bit clearer. I go through the opposite side, through the little 2 loops. So you should have 2 little V's on your darning needle. Give that a pull through and give it a nice tight pull. Now, all the way along here, we're going to go through the little V's. And we're going to sew this side closed all the way along. Make sure that you keep with the same part of the stitches, so you're not going on to these stitches, so you can keep it on the same stitches. It will then keep it nice and neat. So we're going to do this for a good bit. I'm going to be quiet while we have a good go at it together, so you can work along with me. Make sure you give it a good tug, pull it tight, and then it will seam it closed, and then you'll have a nice seam, similar to a mattress stitch. Just it's not as neat, I will say that. However, for this, it's just so much quicker and easier. If you want to do a mattress stitch, go for it. But I done the other bag with this stitch, and you know, it worked totally fine. You could even use a sewing machine if you really wanted to sew it all together. You know, there's so many ways to do it. You could crochet join if you really wanted to, nice single crochet or slip stitch. Yeah, I'm just doing it this way as I found it was the easiest and quickest. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that all the way down to the bottom. And when you get to the bottom, do not cast off, nothing like that. Don't cut the tail. I will then move on to the next step. So I'll meet you back when we're right at the bottom with the next step. Okay, so we're at the end now. I've just got a couple more stitches sewed together. I thought I'd do that with you, so then we can move on to the next step together. So now I'm on the last stitch. There we go. We have the side of our bag seamed up. What we now need to do is, I'm going to move this up so you can see, we still have our yarn tail attached. Now what we need to do is give this little corner a stretch out. We're going to stretch it and we're going to turn it, and then we're going to pinch here. So we are making, try and work around it, we're making a little loop in here. So your finger will come through and you can see that's where the I-cord will go through. Instead of having to make a loop and attach it, which would make it less durable, I thought, what can I do? And I was toying around with it for ages, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to give this a go. And it worked, and it looks great. Just ensure that you put a good few sewn stitches in, you tie it off, and you do it really, really strong and sturdy. So with that said, going to get started on it. So I'm just going to turn it here, and then I'm going to grab here. Now, don't worry about what it looks like just now. It may look a little bit funky. We're going to quickly pinch it and quickly just go through a couple of the stitches just to adhere it. And then we're going to quickly go around. Oh, sorry, off frame there. Go around. You can keep your finger in like I'm doing, just so you keep the loop where it's needed. Go around and backwards and forwards. We don't need to go all the way around where my finger is, just literally right here. So there's literally no right and wrong with this. Just keep going in with your sewing needle, pull it taut, and ensure that it tightens out very nicely. Okay, I'm going to give it a little turn, and now we're going to work on just this bit here. Keep it going. You don't need to go any further through. Like I say, it's literally just to create this little loop. That is literally what our I-cord will go through for the bag. That is created just to ensure that, you know, if you give it a tug, it's not going to come apart. I like to just be a little bit extra, especially when, you know, little kids are going to be using it. If it's for a PE bag or something, you know, they'll have their shoes in it and God knows what else. So it's just good to throw a good few stitches in. And I just want to tighten that up a little bit there. So I'm going to go through here. There we have it. So I'm just going to quickly go through here, pull it through, and then go through that loop to tie it. So that is now tied. Now I can hide it, give it a pull, cut that tail, stretch it out, and now we have, if I zoom back out, now we have one side completed. We have our little loop where our I-cord will go through. We now need to repeat the same for this side. So I don't have any yarn ends on this end, so what I will do is I will cut one and add it on. And again, we still must work from the top of the bag. So this is the opening of the bag where everything gets put inside, and this is the side and this is the bottom. We need to then work, just move it away so you can see what I'm doing, top to bottom. So I'm just going to quickly grab both ends. I'm going to go through two of these on. I'm going to leave a good strand, and then we're going to go through both these and make sure we don't twist it up. It can get a little bit twisty to begin with, and that's okay. Just going to go through, get that strand out of the way. Put it nice and tight, and we're going to do this all the way down to the bottom. I'll meet you back at the bottom so I can show you how to do the loop again. that will obviously hold the I cord, just so we have recapped it all. So we are sewing through 2 little V's. So we're going to go through 1 and then go through 2. So we'll go through 2 V's at a time, pull it through, pull it nice and tight. We'll go all the way down to the bottom. When we get to the bottom, we're not going to tie it off or anything yet. We will then work the little loop that will hold the crochet or I cord string. I will be back in a minute. Okay, so now we're near to the bottom. I just need to do these last few stitches again, like on the other side. I thought I'd just wait and show you. So we're met up at the same point again. Go through these last few stitches. Give it a nice tight pull. I feel like I was out of frame for that, so if I am, I'm so sorry. Right, we're going to wrap it around my finger, pinch here, and then what we're going to do is quickly pop a stitch in to hold it where it needs to be. And now we can go around and sew it. Nice and tight. And just keep going. Keep going around so it's nice and secured. That's the main thing, is just ensuring it is secured. I'm going to quickly zoom in so you can see. So what I do is I'm literally just popping stitches wherever I feel necessary, just to ensure it's durable. So with this, really, there's no right or wrong way. Just make sure you pop lots in so it is strong. And I'm going to turn it around a minute and we're going to go through here. Keep it going. And give it a tug. Pull that tight, and I'm going to go through here and it'll make a loop. Pop the yarn through, ties a knot, and then we're going to hide the yarn through. We'll cut that tail end off. So now what you should have, when I zoom out, you should have both sides sewn up and then 2 holes for the I cord to be adhered to. Now we are on to the next step. What we need now for the next step is, move it out the way, we need our I cord. So you should have a good amount of I cord. This is definitely too much I cord. So what I like to do is, what we're doing is, we're going up here, up the side. We're going to measure along how much we do need. But then we will need to shorten how much we definitely need, because it's just about 100 centimetres. You can obviously leave it longer and then do the tie method that I do, and then it will just make it adjustable for children. So I'm going to cut there, and then we need to do the same the other side. So what we've done is, we've gone up, we've gone along, and then we've turned it around, and then we've gone all the way back down. Now we need to do that again. So we're going to place it here and go up, go around and around, and then back down. And then we're going to cut that off. And then there are I cord lengths that we've got. So like I said, we definitely did have a good amount left over that I will use for another project. So we'll work one I cord at a time, so it's less confusing for you. So I'm going to remove this one out of the way for a minute, and I'm going to pop that up there whilst we work on the first one. So To begin with, we need to close the ends of the I cord. So I'm going to zoom in, zoomy zoom, so you can see. I'm going to pop one aside, and then this one, I'm going to pull. So we need to pull, and then I do want to pull a good amount of length because I know my child I'm making it for, I do need a little bit of length removed. So my tail is quite long now, so I'm just going to do that. So it is good to obviously measure the child you're making it for, but if it is a surprise, and obviously just go with the 100 centimeters. And then obviously if the parent does need to adjust it, because we're tying it, they can pull and adjust it with the knots. So to close the tubes of an I cord, we just go through each of these little loops. So 1, 2, 3, and not going through, is it? Doesn't want to work for me. 4. Go through all of them, pull it through, and pull it tight. And we'll leave the yarn tails out for a moment because we do need them just to begin with. And again, this one, remove the fluff, which is just where we've cut it, and then we can pull a good amount of strand. I'm going to pop out that much, so I'll do. I'll take that out of the way because if my strand's too long, it's harder to do. Pop my darning needle on. Just make sure I'm still in the frame. There we go. So again, we're going to go through 4 loops. 1, 2, 3. I need to get that 4th one. 4. Pull it tight. And there we go. We have 2 ends that are done so far, semi-done. Just going to turn my camera about a bit so we are where we need to be. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave the length there for a minute. We're going to leave the amount we need here. And we're going to take this end. We're going to add it to our darning needle. And add it on. Right, so we're on the darning needle. I'm going to turn my work to the side. Keep this length down here. Now, on the side of our work, we have an entrance point where we obviously joined it all together. We need to go through here, and we're not sewing like through or anything like that. We're going through the insides of the tubes. I will obviously be pulling my yarn out at some point, and it may pull the I cord through, and that is fine. But it's just so I can keep going along. And what we're going to do is go all the way along. I'm going to take some of the yarn. I'm going to go through. It may be a little bit of a struggle when we get to the middle because that is where we mattress stitched. It might be alright though. Just be careful about snagging, so just make sure it gets in and then give it a pull. It's going to not like me now, is it? I'm trying to do that on frame. I'm just going to take it off frame a second so I can just see where I'm at. Right. I'll redo that bit because it's just not, it's snagging on that bit. Right, I'll turn it that way up. Right, so go back in through where you came out. So that'll be here. I'm going to bring it back to here just so I can make sure I've got that inside. So if you can help it, try not to pull it through totally, but you know, it once you've stretched it out again, it'll be fine. So this is where we've done the mattress stitching. It can be slightly difficult, but as long as you just keep in the middle of the tube. Remember, we're not going on the other side. We're literally on the inside of this project right now. If it pulls through, yeah, just give it a little tug. You just really need to be careful that you're not snagging on any of the little stitches, because then obviously that can ruin your work. And we do not want that. So back through in the same loop. We're going to get it to go right to that edge. If we can help it, yes. Right to the edge. Give it a good pull. I'm going to quickly stretch that out because I don't need it to. Right, and now we need to turn the work around. We're literally putting this I-cord all the way through the top. So we'll go back in where we left. And we're going to try our best to keep it in the middle. Give it a pull. My strands are getting a bit. Again. And just go all the way along, making sure you're staying in the centre of the tube. This may work. We can probably get all the way to the end doing it like that. As long as we stay through the middle. Oh. And then we'll be here. I'll give it a good pull and see how we do. I might not want to pull through, might not, with that, like that. Yeah, there we go, it's doing it. And then we've just got a few little to do. Give it a tug, make sure we get all of that through. Stretch the work out. Stretch that out. That's literally where I've done the mattress stitch, so that is visible, but that's why I like to leave these so we can sew it together and close that off properly. So now if we turn the bag back the right way around, we need to make sure that the lengths are both exactly the same. So you just tease it about until you've got the lengths. Now what we need to do is pop our finger through and try and grab both of them bits of yarn, both the bits of I-cord, should I say, sorry. And now because we've attached it, it's all done. What I'm going to do is thread that yarn on, and then, what are you doing? There we go. Sew it into the middle of the I-cord, stretch it out, snip that off. We'll do the same with this one. Sew it down through the middle. Pull it through. Well, we're a little bit stuck at the end. There we go. Pull it through and then make sure you stretch that back out. Cut the end off. Stretch again, hides it off. And now we need to make sure they're both equal. And what I like to do is just nice knot here, like so. Ooh. Need a bigger knot for that. A nice big knot. And you can double knot it, single knot, however you wish. Right, that's better. Now, this is why I like to knot it. So if the child was smaller and needed the straps to be shorter, you then literally just simply undo the knot or pull it through even more, not even more. But that is perfect for size child I'm doing this bag for. So now what we need to do is add the I-cord to the other side using the same method. So we go in through the side, go all the way around and back down, just like I'd shown you. And I'll meet you back here when we have done that step. Okie dokie. So now what we need to do is sew the ends in. So like I mentioned, I just wanted to seam that bit together just to make it a little bit more secured and hidden, and the same with this one as well. It's just where we mattress stitched together and it's come through and seam. So I'm just going to, as I sew my ends in, there we go, literally just like that, just do another one, and then we're going to tie it off, go through the loop, doop-de-doo. And now I'm going to sew that end in like that, and I'm going to snip off the tail. That is another end down and out of the way. And now we can do these ones. So we've got two here we need to work on. That I am going to quickly tie, if you can see or not actually. Tie that a couple of times because that will secure both together. Add my longest strand onto here. I'm going to go down. I'll just stretch that out and stretch that over to ensure. Now I'm just going to attach that. Give it a little sew just to hide it. I mean, you don't have to do this step, but it's just like finishing item, isn't it? Like, these are some steps we must take to finish it properly and make it look neat. Just hides that bit. Now I'm going to knot it off, tie it nice and tight, and then I'm going to hide my yarn tail, give that a snip. Then we've got this yarn tail to hide. Yep. Give that a nice snip after we've hidden it. There we go. Stretch it out, and then we should just have this one here. This one here, and it's fine that these ones are on show, so what I'm going to do is literally tie that just here, tie it off, and then hide the tail for that one. Snip the ends. That's gone. Have a double check, make sure there's no more tails. So this is the inside of the bag. I've got it all tied up. Remember, we can loosen these, extend these, and then this is the back. Now on to the fun part and the final steps. So what I like to do to attach my dinosaur spikes, I like to just close the bag up a bit so then I can actually see where my spikes need to be sat. You wouldn't want a spike up here and then it get all jumbled, so it's a nice one here, here, and here. Now I'm going to take a bit of orange yarn, grab a good length of it, snip. This is so cute. What we're going to do is start from the top part. So I'm going to loosen it ever so slightly, but make sure we are on the middle, and this will help hide the mattress stitching. So if you've had any mistakes or anything, so mine isn't totally neat, but it's there. So what I like to do is we're going in, go down a bit, there, yeah. We're going to go in. We're not going all the way through the bag. We're literally just going through the first layer of that tube. Going to leave a nice length here, and then the same with how we done the sides of the bag. We are going to go along And so sideways, just like that. Try and keep it as straight as possible. You can use stitch markers if you would like to. I just prefer to hold it in place for this one, but you can do either. It's absolutely your choice. So as we're coming up to the second triangle, I'm going to show you what we do at the second triangle, and then I will continue with the third whilst you do the third as well. So what we do now is we add the second triangle, and we need to go through, can we see? So we need to go through this part of the triangle and attach it to that end of the triangle. Each point of the triangle we're going to attach. So they're now secured together. I'm going to turn it back sideways so I can sew. And then we're going to continue the same stitch along. We will do that same attachment for the third as well, for the third triangle. And then I will meet you back here after you've done that. Brilliant. And then we're just going to stand the spiky spikes up. So adorable already, right? So I lost the rest of my voice on this recording. I don't know where it all went. So what we're doing is just putting the darning needle through the end spike of the triangle to get it to go through to the other side, so then we can begin to work upwards on the bag. We will be using the same stitch as we did on the other side to adhere it all together. You don't have to do the step if you don't want to. You could just tie off and hide your ends in, but I like to go all the way back up just so I know that it's totally durable. I just have more peace of mind knowing that nothing's going to come falling off. So we'll sew all the way up, and then I will get back here when we've reached that point. Now what we need to do is I like to take both the ends, so we've got our starting end and our finishing end. I will sew through the end tip of the triangle, and then I will tie both of these strands together. I will do a double knot, as this will just secure it and make it more durable. So here I am double knotting it, and then after I've double knotted it, I then get my darning needle. I'll attach both strands of the yarn onto my darning needle, and I'll take that darning needle, I'll put it into the triangle and hide my yarn tails up in there. It's easier going through the orange than it is the blue. It's more hidden going through the colour that you've already used. Cut them ends off, and your bag is complete. Voila! It is gorgeous. Just poke about with your spikes, shape them about, give them a little move around so they fall into place how you'd like them to be. But this is the bag. I do hope you liked my tutorial. If you do create this, please do pop some pictures on our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is called Circular Knitting Machines and Caydo I-cord Makers. I'd really like to see what colours you all use and how many you make. It's really exciting. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining me, watching my tutorial and being a part of my channel. Please do like and subscribe as well, as that really does help me on my journey as I'm just starting out. But yes, thank you all so much for watching.